Andrea Mountain, come on down. You're the next contestant on The Committee is Right. Okay, well, we're going to start. I hope people back there can hear. What? You can't hear a word I'm saying. Zib is ugly. He can quite obviously hear what I'm saying. Is that better? Can you hear us now? Yes. Good. So this year was gigantic, if you didn't notice. It went surprisingly well. So thank you to everyone for coming and for being reasonable people. And generally, just, thank you. We wouldn't be able to do this if you didn't come. So I'm glad to see so many new people here. I hope you come back. I hope you all had fun. Did anyone not have fun? Let's clap for them. We should clap for them. Oh, yes, okay. So I'm going to run through the thank yous from the con book because I never actually said most of them. They're in the con book, but still. Obviously, I want to thank the committee because one person couldn't do this alone. I'm going to run the stream and talk. Tonbury, Ben Swiatek, he designed the entire Escape the Age. So you have him to thank and to blame. Tonbury, he lives down in D.C. His address is, no. Vicky Almond at Cyan for answering my emails and being our liaison to Rand and Ryan and everyone. If you didn't have a chance to look through the con book, we have some extras if you didn't get one. It's in here somewhere. There is a very nice interview with her. We in the past we always do, we're going to interview Rand or we're going to interview Ryan or we're going to interview Robin or Rawa. We were like, let's interview someone who most people don't know, because there are plenty of people at Cyan who deserve to be interviewed, and Vicky does a lot at Cyan. So give that a read. Of course, we also want to thank Ryan Warzeka for corralling the abduction team and getting the tech to mostly work, and Rand. Everyone who played Escape the Age saw it. If anyone didn't play Escape the Age, Rand recorded some audio, particularly about moving sliders and adjusting the phase, and some other stuff. So thank you to him. My friend Sam Rabbit, who is an artist who has never played Myst, but I laid out the con book in Microsoft Publisher because it's all I had available at the time, and she looked at it and said, "Oh, honey," and said, "Just send me all the files and I'll make it." And it looks beautiful. So, she also made the map for Escape the Age. I think that almost destroyed her computer. And then she made it at 600 DPI, and Staples would only print it at 150, so it wasn't even worth the trouble. Oh well. Claire Hummel and Mary, oh boy, Wienkowski, for making. Mary made the front logo on the T-shirts, which is the back logo on the con book, and Claire made the back logo on the T-shirts, which is the front logo on the con book. Just to make it confusing. Yes, you have to go forward to go back. Those logos are beautiful, and thank you to everyone else who submitted logos. It's always sort of, are we going to get any logos this year? Okay, good. They all come in at the end. Please stop submitting them at the end. Please submit them early. Thank you to everyone who donated prizes. and other people who... and I also want to thank Lee Fuchs, who was a first-year attendee this year. She's not here today, who basically got herself voluntold into doing committee work. She had us make her a I am not a staff member badge and then never wore it. So we're probably going to draft her in future years. All of the Escape the Age materials will be released to our blog, which will go to our Facebook and our Twitter and all of that. We'll have the journals. They won't have the diagrams in them. We'll have the journal text. Do we know where the journals went? Okay, she has the journals. So she'll scan the journals, and we'll have rules to Eiley, and the layout and all of that. If people really want them, I can release the 3D models for the Eiley pieces, which were 3D printed at Shapeways. I should drink some water. And we'll release basically everything except for the electrical diagrams, because there are no electrical diagrams. That was all very like, oh God, I didn't make it work. And oh, there are 25 buttons, and they all have 4 wires coming out of them, and it's 3 a.m. and it's Wednesday. So that was, yes. We'll release that, and the map. We'll release the map. We have a Facebook group. So there's the Mysterium official Facebook page that the announcements automatically go out to. Then there is, what's it called? Fan group gathering. The Mysterium fan group, something like that. Just search for Mysterium on Facebook and you'll find us. We also have a Google+, a Twitter, Tumblr. It's generally all at MysteriumCon. We also have a YouTube where we will be posting the videos from the stream. So take a look at that. If you didn't get to it, there is a, where did the thing where people put their names go? On the table back there, you can put your, all those things. Your social media contact information. We will type it up and put it in a spreadsheet and email it to all attendees. The thing you've all been waiting for that isn't going to be what you wanted. We're going to announce the dates of next year's Mysterium. We are not going to announce the location yet, except to say that it will be on the western side of the country for logistical reasons that we're still working out. It will be, as always, Mysterium is always on the first full weekend, including a Friday, of August. So next year it will be August 5th through 7th of 2016 on the western side of the United States. We will have information, hopefully by the end of, hopefully within a month, about who is the con chair and what city it will be in. We're just crossing some T's and dotting some I's. I said that correctly instead of incorrectly, which was not what I meant to do. And having said that, we are going to open it up for a feedback session. So, did you like things? Did you hate things? Are there things that ideas you have for other things we could do? Things you really want to see? Things that we did that you said, that was such a waste of my effort to go to. Why did you even do that? Do you know where he lives? We have a microphone here, and we have Zib back there with another wireless mic. And Zib no longer has the wireless mic now. Go
Not
ahead.
anymore. Hi. So this is my second year at Mysterium, and I absolutely loved it. The Escape the Age was amazing. I know nobody actually got all the way through it, but it was really, 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 really fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, so bravo to everyone who did Escape the Age. That was amazing. I think next year we should do more. More sessions, so smaller groups. But
Yeah,
whatever.
We
I know
wanted-
it was an experiment this year, but whatever. Anyway,
Yeah, so
a giant hooray.
next year it should be, or next time, not next year. Next time it should be a smaller group, and the con chair should not be the one making it. Yeah, yeah.
Whoa, that is loud. So the only complaint I had this year is that a lack of power strips. I'm sure some people also had trouble with getting their computers to power outlets. I don't know if it's just the room layout or what, but just maybe extra power strips for more plugins if in future, because some people like me have really short laptop cables and other things that are short and don't stretch to tables all that well.
Right.
Camera drifted up there. So that's just my feedback is some power strips for next time.
Okay. Who else? What did people think of? Okay, I'll write that down for when there are no more.
I just wanted to add one thing to the Escape the Age thing, which is just that I thought the journals were so well written. Like they were just, the whole thing felt very evocative. So serious kudos to you guys for all your hard work.
That was all Tonbrew. Well, she did the writing, but she yes. Go anyway. Go on. Yep.
This is my first year, and it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you, guys. But it's my first year because I didn't know it was ever on the East Coast. Please promote more.
How did you hear about it?
Through the Kickstarter for Abduction.
Okay. How would you like to have heard about it?
I have no idea. I know nothing about promotion at all. Just please promote more because, yeah, no, every year it's on the East Coast now, I'll be here.
Yes, tell all your friends. Tell your friends, tell your wife.
The marker missions are always fun. This year and in previous years, or recently, you've kind of said that it goes all weekend long. Honestly, that's not realistic because how many just want to sink our teeth at right off the bat? And so I feel like the people who did the first Escape the Age session probably missed out on the missions because they start at the same time. So probably best to just schedule missions start this time and go until this time. So
Run, Zib, run.
You also had 2 booklets for the game, and you gave both booklets out the first day. Maybe you want to give out the first booklet the first day, and then people who join the next day could have additional challenges to join in.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the marker missions and thinking that it was really too bad that we ran through it the first day and everyone who came the second day didn't have a chance. And I was trying to figure out how could you do that so that multiple groups can run through it and it doesn't matter what time you get there, really. And my thought was if you wrote a word or a code or something on back of each of those markers. I loved the markers that you've used this year. I've seen the big round ones in previous times, and I really thought the markers this time were really neat because they were harder to spot when you were there. You really did have to dig around and look. But I was thinking if you ran them, say, in 2-hour sessions, and you handed out a booklet, and instead of taking the marker, when you get to your marker, you turn it over, and I'm in the red team, I turn it over, and on the back of the red marker is the word moon or whatever, and I write it down, and then you come back to the con room and present your paper to whoever's running that 2-hour marker mission. You could do it in groups, and then subsequent groups can continue to go, and the markers haven't been moved, and people can have further opportunity to take part in the marker mission without it being completely dissembled at the first run-through.
So like a geocaching thing where the cache stays.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
There. We have a 5th group, just for the people that show up just on Saturday.
Right, that could make sense.
Or at 5 p.m. on Friday.
You can be in the Saturday group. Yeah.
Saturday. No. I showed up after everything started on
Right,
Friday.
and then you could be in the Saturday group.
Yeah.
But if you can keep them where they are,
Right.
then there's no resetting necessary, and multiple groups can have multiple opportunities to run through the marker mission. You can do
Right.
a game within the game.
Also, regarding marker missions, I think it would have been helpful if the markers had been marked for which puzzle they went with, because sometimes there were a couple ones in the same area and our GPS wasn't that precise. So we didn't know which one we had or hadn't found. So even just like a number on the back of it would have helped with that.
Also, I had, oh, sorry, it's a little bit loud. in tandem to that, I thought that maybe like I like the geocaching idea, but maybe not so much like messing with the phone geocaching with like Google Maps. We had trouble with our phones sometimes, and that maybe you could instead do like a map of the grounds of the hotel. I don't know how feasible that actually would be, like in preparation, but like have like a grid on that and do it based on that instead.
We could do both. Just add more things, more complexity. Drea, how do you feel about making it more complicated?
I mean, if I could find some resources for having a map of the area that I could be hiding them in, then yeah, I could do that.
You've got a whole year.
I don't know where we are. That takes a while. You don't want me to do that. I'm not nice.
Hang on.
Hey.
I want to follow up to that. Did anyone take issue to the fact that it required a smartphone to do the marker missions? No. Okay. Do you take issue with the fact that, I mean, in a big team, there's usually going to be at least one person with a GPS? So, I mean, well, he means, would you take issue, so if there was like an app that was required to make it work? Okay, yeah. We'll build a key. It'll be fine. It's on my to-do list for a very long time, and I'm waiting for the tech to get there. Go ahead.
Hi. This is my first year here as well. And I just wanted to say that Escape the Age was a great idea. The game puzzle was a little bit cumbersome. A letter bomb to whoever thought of that. I really enjoyed like the other sort of games, the Unwritten and the Oxy and basically I wouldn't mind like more games like this. Like I know there's a missed board game back there, so maybe you could put maybe you could like make a tournament or a contest based on that.
There's actually a Mysterium board game. It has nothing to do with Myst. It's from some European country. We're trying to get a copy of it, but we did think about having a board game night, which we forgot about. Odo brought the board games. Okay, but thank you. Yeah, that's.
Hi guys. First off, thanks for everything you guys did. So I think everybody appreciates it. I think everybody kind of agrees that the age room was awesome. It was a great, phenomenal idea. And I think it kind of evolved as it kind of went along and stuff, because I know personally I'm not one of the super genius categories that many of you people are. I could have used a gimme.
You could have used what?
A gimme.
Okay.
At least one, just make me feel good. Right. Which I think it kind of evolved as it kind of went. But overall, I loved the game. It was a fantastic idea. Even if I randomly walk around and I don't get a thing, it was a great idea. I loved it.
Thank you.
The other thing I wanted to say was the forums. I really enjoyed the forums and the writing forums and things like that, and getting some people in and different ideas that everybody kind of had in the video game production. So I would personally like to see more of that. Maybe one more. Even the gentleman who was talking about the game that he made, I kind of like that too. So maybe another one on Friday and maybe one more. But I like that idea.
So a worry about that forum before it happened was that it wasn't directly Myst related, so we were worried that did people care? Okay, so yeah, did people generally like that forum? So you want to see more of that sort of format? Okay. Yeah, we said, we'll experiment. We haven't really done like a forum thing before. Let's try that. So good. Questions? Are there any questions on the stream, Tanshin? Ask questions. Get involved. What? What about it? Before you go, would people like? So we're being. We're having a. Stop. I'm gonna. Don't make me come over there. We're apparently getting one of the Gimnet boards donated to Mysterium. At least it's unclear if there's more than one getting donated to Mysterium.
At least one. I'm leaving at least one behind.
Okay. So we have the Heek tournament every year. Would people like a Gemdet tournament? I think that's a yes. Which takes longer? Okay. Yeah. Tournament. Right, yeah. Right, with the budget that we're borrowing equipment this year. Yes, who had the question?
Yeah, so I had, as we were talking about kind of ideas for different types of content, something that occurred to me was that, and I don't know if this is a good idea, but I figured I'd float it out there, that some of us have a lot of deep knowledge and skills of stuff within the Myst universe that some of us don't. So for example, like I love looking at Denis writing, but I don't know how to write it, I don't know how to speak it. I don't know if we had people who were experts in certain areas of the world, if others would be interested in learning about it from them, if those would be sessions that they would be interested in.
Following off of that history note, or the story note that he was just talking about, on Callum, I did the Heritage Nainu. I don't know how many of you know what that was, but basically it was telling the stories of what happened in Uru time and time again, and if we were to do something like that, I wouldn't be opposed to doing it. So I'm consider myself kind of volunteered for that if you ever decided to do it, I guess.
Usually what happens is we say, event submissions are open, submit an event idea, and then we get a lot of crickets. So, yeah, we're not sure how to fix that. Yeah, I mean, well, yes, but like it's a year from now, so.
Well,
that's one.
So, well, if I'm going next year, I will submit a history thing then, I guess.
Okay.
So.
Also might help if you had specifics, like, you know, we would like to do a session on.
Can you come up and talk into a mic? We're recording it so that. Yes.
Oh, good. If you offer, is that better?
Yeah.
If you offer, if you come up with ideas, you know, you could have people toss out ideas, but if you're not getting ideas, you could say, okay, we'd like to do a session on Denis writing. Is there anyone who would be willing to step forward and do that? And you might get more response that way.
Right.
Just because when you're trying to think of something yourself, you don't necessarily think of, you know, people might not think of it, but they might go, oh, I can do that.
Right. It's like what Dean was talking about with the, write something here, write a story. You have a blank page. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think maybe also as smaller group sessions rather than as an event, because there might only be 3 other people here who are interested in that. But if you just want to sit at a table and talk with those 3.
Yeah, I'll give it back. We've talked about doing like tracks, like larger cons have. When there's 50 people, it doesn't really make sense. But we're getting, yeah. So, yeah, we've also, the first time we tried the, here's a, sheet where people can sign up and you can put a topic and a time. And it didn't really do anything, but the last couple times we've done it, it seems to have worked. So it might be worth bringing that back as an official thing, like the Tumblr meetup that one of you made. Yeah, okay. Oh, we did an Ingress meetup last year, yeah.
What I think we'd be willing to do is set this up as a conversation right around when event submissions come up. I liked the idea of having us toss out ideas, but we might set it up as a conversation where here's a few topics we're thinking of, tell us which of those you might be interested in, and then if we get a list of what people are interested in, also here are ones we're thinking of doing. Who feels like they're enough of an expert to teach it? And that way we could have a two-way conversation about here's topics you've given us, or here's topics that we are giving the community. Who feels like they could teach this? And if we set this up as a two-way conversation, that would make panels more interesting, I think, and that would help us get smaller sessions that people are really invested in. But right now it seems like we're having problems on both sides coming up with the initial spark.
Yeah, and jumping off of that, if we said, you know, you don't have to run it, what would you like to see? You know, what is a topic that you want to see covered? And then we can say, okay, we think these are really interesting topics. Now who can run this? And also then we can say, hey, person I know that knows this stuff, you are being voluntold into running a panel. We're having a Dunny language panel, and we happen to know someone. What? Oh. Did he email it, or? Oh. Hi, Rawa. So you told me to remind you last year that you're supposed to go back to your desk and write down the thing about the Guild of Zoologists and Escher and all of that. And I never did, so this is me reminding you.
All right, so it sounds like the first one was already released, so it was Tico Wheat. It means I'm sorry. And then the one that seems to be new and newly researched this morning is Zudu, to regret.
Give that to Cap to type up. Thank you.
Thank you, Rawa.
Odo and I have a question regarding the two-way conversation. Can we just get a quick show of hands on what people's preferred medium for submitting questions and talking about us, what that would be? Who'd prefer to, you send us emails and then we post about it on the blog? Okay. Yeah. Who'd prefer Facebook? Okay. Who'd prefer something more like Google+? See, not everyone has Facebook. I think half the committee doesn't. What if we set up a section of the web forum that we already have for Mysterium for rideshare? Yeah. What if we did a public Google Doc where you can submit responses, see what other people have submitted and left comment? All right. So what we'll do is we'll take a look into the forums and we'll get back to you and we'll put up a blog post about it.
Can you maybe do both? Yeah. Maybe the forum and back it up with the Facebook, so that way it gets a little bit more branching exposure.
The only thing with that is we'll have to, you know, if there's, you need cross-pollination, yeah. Yeah.
Please don't go Facebook only.
Yeah.
That's shit.
We don't like using Facebook as like a main thing, but that's where everyone seems to be. Like we're like, we put out questions and that's the place. That and Tumblr are where we get responses. And Facebook more than Tumblr. I would love to not use Facebook, but people refuse to switch. Mike? What did Rawa say? Did he say anything else?
Just one other suggestion. What about using like the unconference type of format, where it's
So,
done on the spot?
The first time we tried it, the like come up with ideas thing, we tried like an unconference sort of thing, and it didn't really have traction. I wonder if now that it's bigger, we might be able to, and if we planned it a little better. But yeah, we should try that again. That year wasn't very organized anyway. That was my fault. That was 2012. That was my first, like, actually being in charge instead of being like, no one's running it, I'll just do it. Anyone else?
I just wanted to say one thing, and I hope, I don't care whether this is in closing or not,
But I want to thank everybody on the committee because there's an awful lot of work behind the scenes that nobody ever sees and nobody ever appreciates. And you guys have done just a smackdown, bang-up job of putting together this Mysterium. And thank you for your time, for your effort, for the stuff that time you spent away from your family and not concentrating on them and doing this. Thank you so much for doing that. And the second thing I want to say is to everybody in the room, thanks for coming. Because without us, I guess I'll include myself in that, without us, this would not have happened either, because they would have spent a lot of time doing nothing. And this is my first Mysterium. I was afraid I was going to show up and there would be 7 other people here. And
That's
so
always what we're afraid is going to happen.
Thank you for participating, for coming, and for playing Cyan games, and for loving it. And so thanks everybody for coming.
What did people think of the hotel? And the area? Well, we can't control the elephants. Yeah, they do. Well, it won't go all the way to the airport, but you might be able to bribe them into going to the Woburn Transportation Center, which has the airport shuttle for $12. If Anthony is working the shuttle, let him know that I sent you. Mike, here's the mic.
Yeah. One thing that was a bit of a concern for those of us who didn't have cars, who flew in and came in from the airport, was reasonable access to food. There were ways around it. You could get a car from someone else. You could even walk to some close places if you were determined enough. But just in figuring out the hotel location for next year, that's something that could be a concern.
Well, the shuttle, the shuttle will took you to anywhere in like a 5-mile. There's a shuttle? Okay, so I mentioned the shuttle. I guess I didn't mention it enough. Got it. Mention shuttle more. Just don't tell them. Yeah, you just I need the shuttle. They're not going to ask what room you're in. If you say I'm not at the hotel, they might.
Well, I just wanted to just piggyback on what he just said, is that I had the same concern, and the problem was that between here and the Burlington Mall, there's all this sidewalk construction going on, so it was almost impossible to get anywhere without a car. With that said, the hotel does have takeout menus if you just ask them. I asked them that, and they have
menus ahead of time.
Pizza, Chinese, Indian, more pizza, more pizza, mostly Papagino's. So if that's your thing, so I just wanted to put that on the record.
Yep.
All right. In regards to the hotel, I know that people mentioned having issues with the wedding. I'm not sure if this would be something feasible, but in the future maybe possibly see if the hotel has X amount of convention rooms to rent, see if there's one that it's okay, it's far away from all the others, so that A, we don't disturb close ones, or B, they don't mess with us, or...
That's what this was supposed to be. They were it's this room, it's nice and off to the side. It's not directly next to the ballroom unless the whole ballroom is being used, and you have your own hallway, and there's a patio at the end, and and then we're oh, that's great, and then there was a wedding, and there was another wedding, and then there was a tax something related to something.
Hi. Also, along those same lines before, some of us that took the red line up and then took the bus to either the mall or nearby to walk here, we were a little confused about where the bus stop would be to take us back. And so like just clarifying that was like a little problem. We actually had to take like a shuttle from the hotel to the mall and then take the bus from there. So like just clarifying like where those options are could be helpful too.
Were you coming by bus every day?
No, not every day, but like Friday and today.
Oh, okay. Cool. Do you need to know where it is now?
I could just take like a shuttle.
Okay. Yep.
There are closer stops.
There's a stop closer to the hotel. So Tanshin knows, but yeah, you can take the shuttle to the. Yeah.
Having breakfast included at the hotel is hugely helpful. I know that's not a deal breaker, but.
Yeah, it would have made the room rate like $135 a night. And not everyone uses the breakfast, so we did consider having a suite with cereal and stuff in it, but didn't have it. Yeah. Mysterium?
With the hotel, some of the things that I've been seeing and noticing with all of the issues and things like that is that it's location, quality, and price, and you can usually have two of the three.
Right, yes. Pick two.
So that's kind of what we need to do.
Pick one, yeah.
I love this hotel. It's very nice. It's almost, I think, a little too nice. I don't know how everybody else feels. Maybe it's too nice. So I would be willing to sacrifice the quality for the breakfast or for something else. I don't know how everybody else feels, though.
Okay. So I'll spend 15 seconds talking about that.
Yeah.
I will say that we submitted probably 20 bids, and most of them wanted even more money than this for even worse hotels than this.
Really?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Well, so next time what people should do is bring, I know you can stop with the pointing. Just bring like a button-down shirt, and then if there's a wedding, go put it on and like get free food. Don't do that.
There wasn't, I don't
Would
think
there-
that'll work in some cases because Thursday night when I arrived, there was an Indian.
Well, yeah, so then you should also bring like a sari just in case, and
Sorry is for women.
some tefillin and the scarf thing. What's the scarf thing? I'm Jewish and I can't remember the names of these things. Anyway, you have a question, so you can.
Some Mysterio, there's been a lot of like traveling around town and seeing things, and some very much not. This was one of those not. I still had a great time, but it'd be good to try to keep in mind what can we do easily. Some places are easier or harder to do transportation, but just something to keep in mind. What can we do to get people out to see the city that we're in?
Yeah, the issue with Boston is that once you get outside of a certain range, transportation is not. And so when we were in 2011 we were in Waltham, we tried to do local stuff, and it was a disaster. And so what we, and also it was sort of along the lines of we're getting events going at the hotel, and you're getting people here and back, it takes time, and so they can't do the stuff at the hotel. And if we keep, we've been to Boston multiple times, so, if we keep doing the same cities, which was because no one was bidding to host conventions, and we live in these cities, people end up having seen the cities, and so we thought people might enjoy their ability to socialize and do the events on site more. If we go to a new city, we would definitely, like if we go back to Spokane, it's like, and there's that same park with the clock tower again. It hasn't changed. There's a new wasp's nest, and did you want to?
Basically, it becomes a balance between people request more time in the city, but we also just had that discussion about people requesting more panels, and it becomes a trade-off of panel versus city event. That said, I'd like to bring something up. Committee's tossed around a couple times before, and that We've historically, we're 2 full days and a half day on Sunday. We have discussed making it 3 full days before. There's been some occasional pushback about I need to go back because I need to go back, I need to fly back, or I need to travel in order to be home for work on Monday. So I know there's been some historical pushback about making it 3 full days. What we could possibly look into would be if people are interested in the city exploration stuff, they might be the people who are staying through till Monday. Setting that up for after closing ceremonies like we're having now might be an option. Alternately, do y'all want to have a conversation with us? Do we want to start a conversation about maybe officially making it a 3 full day con? Because that would be the only other way to resolve the balance. There's always trade-off.
My counter argument to that is, look at how many of you are not in the room right now. A lot of people would be really upset if we were doing prizes at 5 p.m. tonight. That's okay.
Like you were saying, a lot of people have to be at work or whatnot on Friday, but there are those who do stay all through Sunday. So everyone just keep in mind, don't just leave early Sunday because everyone's gone. There are those who stay. So if you want to do stuff, there are those of us who will be there to do it.
And once we close the con room, you can be in the lobby. You know, they're not going to. Things that we have done in the past, actually, bouncing off of that, is, you know, there's an unofficial field trip to whatever Sunday afternoon after closing, that sort of thing. Oh yeah, it's like, here are places you can go, and you can, you know, we could even put a sign-up sheet if these people want to go together, and you can figure out transportation on your own because we're not renting a bus for you. We rented a bus last year, and then we didn't need it, so. Yep.
So maybe you can do like an intro when you first check in, food to eat, places around.
Yeah, that's what the guidebook's for. Except not everyone has smartphones. Go ahead. How many people in here downloaded the guidebook? How many people in here that downloaded the guidebook found it useful? How many people in here would have downloaded the guidebook had they had a smartphone? Okay. And how many people had a smartphone and had no desire to download the guidebook? Okay. What? I'm not sure what else we can do outside of the 20 signs. Yeah, go. Yeah, you're not pointing. How am I supposed to know there's a question? I don't know what you're trying to indicate, Zib. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just had another thought that if, and you actually kind of covered it, was that if we wrapped up and did prizes at the end of the official convention and then followed that up with local trips, then people who needed to leave could, but people who wanted to participate or stay longer could. The other thought I had was another thought that I just lost.
It's happening to all of us. Don't worry.
I have no idea.
We can come back.
No idea.
I'll hand it back to you if you remember.
Can I just say that I love that we're actually doing a breakdown of what we do and not do, because other conventions I've gone to haven't really done that. I do appreciate this sort of talking thing. It's very nice.
I remembered. My thought was, you talked about opening up the conversations for panel suggestions and things when it comes time to submit those. And my thought was, open up those conversations now. Start them now while things are fresh in people's minds, because it just took me 10 seconds to lose my thought. And so I guarantee you a week from now I'm going to be like, I don't know, Mysterium was great. I don't know. I don't have any ideas. So if you open up those ideas and conversations now, you don't have to make any decisions now, but at least the conversations are running and it's in people's minds, and if they get an opportunity to click on the convention link and they can go, hey, I just thought of this, I'm going to put it out there, rather than waiting 4 months, and at that point, people are trying to dig out of the snow or do whatever they're doing in their part of the country, and it's back to real life. So that was the thought.
Zip can't hear you. We're going to take 2 more. Yeah, if you have final thoughts. And also, Rawa says that it's a talit, is the Jewish thing for the... Thanks.
I just had a very quick thought about the guidebook. It might have helped if there was a paper copy of the guidebook sitting on the reg desk to see what was in the guidebook without going through the rigmarole of downloading the app first.
Right. Can you do that?
And then
I mean,
people without smartphones could see what was in it and note down information important to them.
You can't, it doesn't have a print, so it was basically like the schedule that's on your badge and a map of restaurants that you wouldn't. We could just print out a list of restaurants. Last 2.
Awesome. I know other conventions that I've been to, there's a bit of a merchandising aspect to it as well. Not necessarily for the con itself, but like, for example, Cyan has, I know, an online store, but if there was misrelated merchandise either from independent vendors or from that here, I don't know if
There's
that would
some
shift
sort
it.
of,
Yeah.
I don't understand it. We'd have to talk to Ellery, but my understanding is that our agreement with Cyan, long-standing, has something to do with us not making money or something, and not being a commercial enterprise and all that sort of stuff. So we can't do vendor sales and things
that's
like
fair.
that.
Unless Cyan's official merchandise was here, especially as they expand that in the future.
Right. Yeah. Well, what I would like to do is have the discussion with them about their merchandise and the people that they have authorized to sell merchandise, being able to actually sell on site without it being under the table, which definitely doesn't happen. It doesn't get sold under the table. That does, don't. There was a thing in the back. Was there a thing in the back? Okay, so here.
Yeah, I really am standing up, okay?
Oh, no, I thought you were like a third person who hadn't, okay.
Okay, I just wanted to thank everybody. This was my first Mysterium, and I actually came from close to the West Coast to be here. You guys did a great job. I loved every minute of it, and I just wanted to say thank you for a great time.
Thank you. Any final thoughts? No? Good. Thanks for coming. Get out.